dark, rare Warhammer 40k. Me Snark, Charles the host. Always down playing, but he puts in the work, never swaying. Grim after dark, where humor's intended. Adult jokes and game shows never relented. Danny's got a cunning mark, always on the fly. Val's tongue in cheek while Dickie takes the pie. Danny's competitive, always on the grind, while Val's humor sharp, leaving no one behind. Ted Priest Dickie, the light-hearted one, but jokes aside, he's always having fun. Grim after dark, where humor's intended. Adult jokes and game shows never relented. Danny's got a cunning mark, always on the fly. Val's tongue in cheek while Dickie takes the pie. Grim after dark, the podcast that never sleeps, making fun of the internet with laughter that creeps. Rare Warhammer 40k. Me Snark, Charles the host. Always down playing, but he puts in the work, never swaying. Grim after dark, where humor's intended. Adult jokes and game shows never relented. Danny's got a cunning mark, always on the fly. Val's tongue in cheek while Dickie takes the pie. Danny's competitive, always on the grind, while Val's humor sharp, leaving no one behind. Ted Priest Dickie, the light-hearted one, but jokes aside, he's always having fun. Grim after dark, where humor's intended. Adult jokes and game shows never relented. Danny's got a cunning mark, always on the fly. Val's tongue in cheek while Dickie takes the pie. Grim after dark, the podcast that never sleeps, making fun of the internet with laughter that creeps. Sean, Danny, Val, and Dickie too. Tune in for the humors in the work, never swaying. Grim after dark, where humor's intended. Adult jokes and game shows never relented. Danny's got a cunning mark, always on the fly. Val's tongue in cheek while Dickie takes the pie. Danny's competitive, always on the grind, while Val's humor sharp, leaving no one behind. Ted Priest Dickie, the light-hearted one, but jokes aside, he's always having fun. Grim after dark, where humor's intended. Adult jokes and game shows never relented. Danny's got a cunning mark, always on the fly. Val's tongue in cheek while Dickie takes the pie. Grim after dark, the podcast that never sleeps, making fun of the internet with laughter that creeps. Sean, Danny, Val, and Dickie too. Tune in for the humors in the work, never swaying. Grim after dark, where humor's intended. Adult jokes and game shows never relented. Danny's got a cunning mark, always on the fly. Val's tongue in cheek while Dickie takes the pie. Danny's competitive, always on the grind, while Val's humor sharp, leaving no one behind. Ted Priest Dickie, the light-hearted one, but jokes aside, he's always having fun. Grim after dark, where humor's intended. Adult jokes and game shows never relented. Danny's got a cunning mark, always on the fly. Val's tongue in cheek while Dickie takes the pie. Grim after dark, the podcast that never sleeps, making fun of the internet with laughter that creeps. Sean, Danny, Val, and Dickie too. Tune in for the humors in the work, never swaying. Grim after dark, where humor's intended. Adult jokes and game shows never relented. Danny's got a cunning mark, always on the fly. Val's tongue in cheek while Dickie takes the pie. Danny's competitive, always on the grind, while Val's humor sharp, leaving no one behind. Ted Priest Dickie, the light-hearted one, but jokes aside, he's always having fun. Grim after dark, where humor's intended. Adult jokes and game shows never relented. Danny's got a cunning mark, always on the fly. Val's tongue in cheek while Dickie takes the pie. Grim after dark, the podcast that never sleeps, making fun of the internet with laughter that creeps. Sean, Danny, Val, and Dickie too. Tune in for the humors in the work, never swaying. Grim after dark, where humor's intended. Adult jokes and game shows never relented. Danny's got a cunning mark, always on the fly. Val's tongue in cheek while Dickie takes the pie. Danny's competitive, always on the grind, while Val's humor sharp, leaving no one behind. Ted Priest Dickie, the light-hearted one, but jokes aside, he's always having fun. Grim after dark, where humor's intended. Adult jokes and game shows never relented. Danny's got a cunning mark, always on the fly. Val's tongue in cheek while Dickie takes the pie. Grim after dark, the podcast that never sleeps, making fun of the internet with laughter that creeps. Sean, Danny, Val, and Dickie too. Tune in for the humors in the work, never swaying. Grim after dark, where humor's intended. Adult jokes and game shows never relented. Danny's got a cunning mark, always on the fly. Val's tongue in cheek while Dickie takes the pie. Danny's competitive, always on the grind, while Val's humor sharp, leaving no one behind. Ted Priest Dickie, the light-hearted one, but jokes aside, he's always having fun. Grim After Dark, where humor's intended. Adult jokes and game shows never relented. Danny's got a cutting mark, always on the fly. Val's tongue-in-cheek while Dickie takes the pie. Grim After Dark, the podcast that never sleeps, making fun of the internet with laughter that creeps. Sean, Danny, Val, and Dickie too. Tune in for the humor in the Warhammer 40K crew.
You guys did it. We got there.
Danny McDevitt.
We're gonna be quiet. We're gonna take this.
My intro. It's Ruin After Dark.
Welcome to Grim After Dark, Warhammer's only late night show for, well, you know why at this point. I mean, come on, it's been 3 years. My name is John. I'm here to misinform and entertain as we talk about the goings on over the last week in the world of Games Workshop. It's been a week. This week, we do some mindless shilling. We talk about some tournament shenanigans. And of course, we're going to round it off with an eBay Price is Right. That wasn't bad. I forgot to write that part. But before we go, let's meet the team who make it all possible. First up, it's a co-host with the co-most, now residing in Anchorage, Alaska. He puts the law in White Claw. It's Danny McDevitt.
Thanks, John. What an introduction.
I will say, RIP Ceiling Bar, 2022 to 2024.
Yeah.
That beam, I'm going to miss it. He's a beautiful face of everything square-based, a fantasy enthusiast and a 40K denier. It's Val Heffelfinger.
It's me. I need my face to be bigger. Let's get my face bigger.
Or we need Danny's face to be smaller.
Yeah,
more face.
Oh, see, you guys passed each other.
Camera.
I like Danny's doing the high-tech zoom of just moving his face from the camera.
It's more powerful that way, John.
That's
See,
true.
look, enhance.
Guys, if you just listen to this in podcast format, one, why? Two, but you got to miss out on beautiful visual jokes like that. But we are a full complement tonight, as he's the man behind the Iron Curtain of Canada. He's a world eater, not a world beater. Canadian coach and American sympathizer, Tech Priest Dickie.
Hello.
I still want to say Canadian cooch, which I think would get us banned.
Okay.
Nice.
No, Canadian Cooch is correct. He's Cooch Dickie.
Cooch Dookie. You got there.
Wow.
Funny guys.
Hey, we had a week off. Fantastic.
I don't know where to.
We're building like this all week, actually. These kind of shitty jokes. If we don't get the release of Grim After Dark, just the comedy gets worse, you guys. So
yeah, it only goes downhill from here.
yeah.
Down from here. No.
Assuming we're up in the first one. Hey guys, did you get your emails for LVO for the high roller packages? This guy forgot to respond in time, so took a brother up kicker. Well,
Are you guys LVOing? Are you Las Vegasing this year?
I'll be Las Vegasing this year. My first
I
year of
would
school.
Love to do that. I don't know if I can yet, but I'm gonna try. Yeah,
I'm gonna ask really nicely that no one's murdered in the Anchorage area. Towards how long does it take to bring to trial? January, so like
I don't know,
October, November.
Years, John, years. So it's already in the works.
Some asshole right now is stalking some poor
Probably
girl.
dead. No, they're probably already dead.
Yeah.
This is dark.
Very uplifting.
Let's set things up a little bit then. We have a comment of the week this week brought to us by someone who had a little bit of a complaint here. I love Dickie, mouse cursor, so we know where to look. Happy as always.
Thank you, Dickie.
This week, could you calm down the Frontline gaming ads? They're getting intrusive.
Yeah.
That's pretty fair. And I would say that's fair. But if it wasn't for the fact that right now, if you go to the link in this episode, Frontline Gaming has their classic amazing I have one. That's how good it is.
Really?
You have one of these?
Carrying bags. I bought one of those. Would you believe some sucker bought this when they first came out for $220?
Oh, this isn't even the air. This isn't even the air one. This isn't the new one.
This is the airline one. This is the new one.
This is the FAA approved, buddy.
Hey, the
do
new,
you
the
wanna
new one's
know?
thicker.
No. This is the FAA approved. You know what? This guy right here. This guy approves of this bag. You know who that is? That is Michael
Whose cursor
G.
is on
Whitaker.
Daddy? Whose cursor is on Daddy?
That is Michael G.
I'm
Whitaker.
trying.
That is
Gonna
the
disconnect.
administrator of the FAA. He's in charge of what Warhammer bags fit on planes, and this guy approves of it. So that's how good it is.
Wow.
It's plug foam, has a space for your books, space for all your miniatures. Buy it, you'll love it. There's a link
John, it has
below.
space for your books.
It does. There's a little pocket in the front where you can fit a codex. Because guess where my lost codex, Necron codex is that I found after I bought another one in the Frontline gaming bag.
Now, John, this seems a little unbelievable. You're saying this bag has enough room for miniatures, your dice, and a library?
It does, an entire library.
Wow.
It's fantastic.
Oh, throwback Reese.
I love that race picture.
God,
Danny,
I love this so much.
maybe for the benefit of the audio listener who might not be able to see this beautiful advert,
Yeah.
you might not believe this. I made.
Did you
this
make
by
this?
hand. By
Yeah.
hand,
You should-
I made this.
You should sell this to Frontline. This is the best ad they've ever had.
I mean, probably, yeah. It's definitely the most effort put into an advertisement I've
There,
seen.
so just tell people the layers going on right now. We have spinning. It's a spinning GIF, which would make it instantly shareable by Reese himself, because that's how he primarily communicates, is via GIF.
Yeah.
We've got spinning examples of this travel case, almost hypnotically. While there's also a very transparent layer, by the looks of it, of I think an American flag and a flying eagle.
Yep.
And towards Reese's groin area, two buff lads shoveling cash into a money furnace. I think this
Yeah.
might be one of the greatest advertisements ever made.
Like,
And it's
here's
TikTok.
what I-
And it's TikTok compatible.
Yeah. What do you see? What I take away from this ad, right? Like what it brings to me and what it kind of speaks to me as, you can see them. They're giving money to Reese, and it's not a lot of money for how many cases there are, honestly.
No.
And the cases spinning show their commitment to your miniature safety. Like
Mhm.
you wouldn't have a spinning case if you were afraid of your miniatures breaking inside of it, right?
No.
So like naturally, them spinning like that, it makes me feel at ease. I want to buy one, and I want to support Reese and America.
They
So
are secured.
Also,
Yeah.
I'm seeing a little
Like-
40K signaling / illusion going on here, where Reese's groin area is like the Golden Throne, being fed the bodies of psychers, except in
They're
this case,
literally-
it's your cash that keeps Reese alive.
You
Yeah.
need to funnel your money into Reese's fiery groin in order to continue the quality products coming.
otherwise, he's not going to be able to afford his next dish of mofongo, John. Like keep him going down. Puerto Rico, please.
Please.
I just want to say, we do have an affiliate link with Frontline. I cannot for
Not
the
for
life
long.
of me remember it. So it's just a generic link down at the bottom here. But please tell Reese, the only reason, like email him on Facebook personally. He loves that stuff. Rules
Mhm.
questions, and then also let him know that you bought you bought stuff from him.
The secret is Skype. If you want his attention, you got to go on Skype.
Skype, yeah, that's perfect.
Purely because of this. I did send this for approval to one of the guys from Frontline, by the way. And when one of the guys from Frontline, I do mean Seth. When I said, "Does this Simon brand?" was my question, and I sent him like a little clip of this, and you know what his response was, and this is
What?
how you know it's really Seth, because he doesn't like me. He said, "Sure."
Oh,
Have things fallen so far, Seth? Have things come down so far?
oh dear.
Oh,
But yeah, buy it today. It's a fantastic giant.
Do we
bag.
have this in GIF? Like, do we have this in GIF form, or is this
I can
just
make it in GIF.
or
I
is your
will
computer just melting right now, trying to animate this on the fly?
You'll see right there. My computer is melting.
Oh,
right now
no.
trying to animate this. Oh, good. It's saved. It was melting. But
You
I can
know-
make this in GIF, and we're gonna put that behind a paywall on Patreon.
No,
perfect.
Perfect. That's what
part
people
of
want to
episode
see.
2.
What's what
second part of
people
this
want to
episode.
see is shitty gifs of Reese that I've made.
no,
or
I
he's-
want that. I want to be able to post that on like that. Will I mean Facebook hasn't had a trending topic in some time. I don't think anything has really moved the needle on Facebook.
We're gonna talk about that in a little bit. There's some Warhammer 40K stuff we're gonna talk about.
Oh no.
That might have moved the needle a little bit.
From Texas?
On this show? Come on.
Oh yeah, some things happened, and I didn't really know what it was. So I look forward to learning as everyone else learns. Let's go.
I put it back just so
It just makes my day.
Yeah, there we go. It's loading. It's taking a little bit. It cannot come off screen until we've sold at least 3 cases.
I also find it interesting that the buy it now does not do a full rotation. It just sort of wobbles.
Well, it's harder to read if it's 360s. Like I did it as a full rotation, but then you just couldn't read it halfway through. It said Monty Star Wars.
But maybe there's a subliminal side to that. As it rotates upside down, maybe it's telling you something else.
You would think that it's a downside that this case only comes with plug foam, but you can buy replacement foam trays right now at Frontline Gaming as well?
No way.
Get out of town.
John, you couldn't do that when you got it the first time, could you?
I know. I was really mad because when Jake, the wonderful person who takes care of all the affiliates and lets us know when this cool stuff is coming, emailed to say the case was pre-ordered. My official response from this podcast was, "Can I buy the foam yet?" That was my only response. So we have a great relationship. Everything's going great. Speaking of going great, well, let's get some state of play.
Oh, gee, God damn, you got me.
Did you hear those benedictions of the Omnissiah? That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Really, Omnissiah prayers are just like Dickie being
me getting flustered. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what's going to happen, I'm going to
Gary Lewis.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a video, say, of Tag Priest doing work from Warhammer's wonderful animation areas. And I will, in fact, just dub Dickie over swearing. And I think that's the most accurate thing it can be. Welcome to Around the Net, where we attempt to take a lighthearted look at what's been going on in the Warhammer community in the last week.
This is a state of play. You just said I was state of play.
Whatever. It doesn't even fucking
These
matter.
segments are meaningless.
These segments are meaningless now. Guys, if you care about the segments, let me know. And
how's your Stillmania armies going, guys?
I'm building mine. I've been building it all day today, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Danny and I are going to be recording season 2, I'm going to say, or season 3, whatever. Mob Rules this Friday night, or released this Saturday, entirely detailing the Stillmania process, what we're doing with our armies. Welshman from our Discord, if you are listening, I'm going to be talking to you, and I want your lowdown on my crappy Necron army, because that's good content right there, because you run an amazing Death Guard blog. So you are tactically better than me. But Danny, just to kind of get this on the level here, I saw this and I immediately thought of you. And you can do this.
Why are you Trump handing right now?
No one else can. It's very satisfying to do. Oh, that's my bad. There's a really good high quality case in front of Seth's face. Is that a
picture of Seth?
Yeah, well, this is a thumbnail from the Signals from the Frontline channel. Seth has been posting some really good competitive content, so if you want to learn how to get better, not pay a coaching fee, you can get it from here. His latest video is how to learn from losses. So, Danny, how much
what you pay for?
What? Say that one more time, John.
Tell me about all of the lessons you've given Seth in this.
If I'm being totally honest, John, I haven't given Seth a lesson in quite some time. He probably has learned from other people playing games against, but over the years, John, hundreds of times I've given Seth lessons on learning from losses. Sometimes he gives me an L occasionally, you got to throw a dog a bone sometimes, otherwise they'll bite the hand that feeds. That's what they say.
God damn.
Sometimes,
yeah.
Is that actually? I always thought those were two separate idioms.
Or no, I just combined them together.
Well, you had me. You had me, dude. You had me.
So, going around our esteemed panel here, Really quick, just in case people don't want to sit through, honestly, a very good video Seth put out.
I, for one, think that Seth should just always be photographed with his face as a FLG case. I think it's an upgrade.
Actually, make that work too.
It's more of a matte finish than his usually glossy look. I like it. I think it's a real step up.
He'd be allowed an airplane.
Waxes his head.
Say again?
He'd be allowed an airplane.
Waxes his head. Do you think he does that? I'm just curious because it's very shiny and like I'm kind of jealous of how shiny his head is. It's kind of like, like a piece of bling. He's kind of peacocking around the Warhammer scene, if you know what I mean.
My question is, could Seth's head actually fit into an FLG case?
Oh, it absolutely might.
I don't know if that's FAA approved.
I think maybe even 2 or 3 heads the size of Seth's could fit into it.
Wow. That's a sales pitch right there.
Maybe, Val, you're just used to lower quality third-party cases, but this one is so high quality, it's guaranteed that Seth can fit his head in it. To the point, well, he'll back that guarantee where if you go up to Seth at an event with an empty FLG case, he will try and put his head in it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think 2 or 3 Seth's heads, 5 or 6 normal human-sized heads could fit into there, no problem.
A third of a Danny head, no offense, bud, but you got
Hey, look, maybe one of mine. I don't know. My head is massive. To be fair.
What have you guys learned from losing? Because this was a really early lesson from Danny, like all jokes aside, that when you win a game, it's great, yeah, I won, but you don't really kind of super improve. You can think of 1 or 2 things. The biggest lessons for playing 40K come when you lose games and kind of can improve from that. What is the biggest lesson you guys have learned from a loss?
I'm trying so hard right now to learn from losing badly repeatedly at Old World, and I'm struggling to learn anything from the losses. Specifically, being eaten by dragons, screamed at. It's getting tricky, but it's fun.
Those dragons, they sound like this.
It's not how it sounded in my imagination. That's how it sounded.
That's all banshees. That's the noise banshees make. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Quality. Danny, what do you learn from loss?
John, I think the biggest lesson that I've learned from losing is patience. And, just kind of waiting for that opportune moment to strike. Like, I know for me, it's a struggle sometimes. I want to get to grips to my opponent. I want them to suffer in the same way that I'm suffering inside every single day. And so if I can't make them feel that way, like on the tabletop, I mean, what am I even doing? So I rush to kind of make that happen. And really what I need to do is like take a step back, be patient, be on the objectives, stage my counter assault, really kind of wait for that opportune moment to really spring the trap and make them regret their entire existence.
My biggest learning from
Darkness
was that darkness. Yeah, I sucked at deploying models.
Oh, sure.
A lot of the time, like it would get.
You know why that was? You weren't taking them out of a frontline gaming carry case.
It's really hard. They're so secure and safe. The FAA is still
them in formation, John. I think that I wouldn't be surprised if it did. Can you do that?
It's plug foam. It's plug foam. You can do what you want with it.
Whatever you want.
Wow.
This is America, baby. This is a made in America probably product.
Deployment though is super hard. I've lost. Yeah. I'd say I lose the majority of my Warhammer games in deployment.
Yeah. It's so
probably pre-deployment.
Yeah. When you look at your opponent, you're like, shit. I've done that. One of my favorite bits we do on the show here is when we talk about, I find some amazing conversions people have done online, and I get the gang here, Dickie, Val, and Danny, to give me rules for the model that I'm about to present them. So I'm about to present you 3 amazing conversions that I found online, and I need you guys to tell me in-game rules for these 40K models. Okay. Starting with, and we're going to start with a classic Grim After Dark bit. Danny, I want you to describe what you're seeing on the screen right now. Gonna
be a baby Nurgle. Oh, okay.
So I'm seeing what I assume is a Kill-A-Can conversion.
Down right.
We have a pot of Abaddon Black. which has some plastic card glued to make shoulder pads, also an eye slit, and then they've made some kind of a saw and glued a hunter-killer missile to the side of it and a couple of little legs to make a kill-a-can. It is extremely poorly executed, but, is in the vein of many an orc thing that I've seen on the internet. So, yep.
So, assuming it's not a kill-a-can, and this is some Mad Max latest fantastic creation, well, what kind of rules are we giving this bad boy?
I'm gonna give this guy the sham shackle rule.
Oh.
In which if it receives damage and you roll a 6, your opponent just gets to throw it in the garbage.
Oh no.
Why would you sully a garbage can like that?
I thought it was going to like bite a prostitute's lip or something like that. I thought that's maybe where you were going with that, as a sham shackle, like a little sham wow.
It's fueled by cocaine.
Deep cut.
By cocaine, we mean pig.
We only see one of these guys, but actually you can take them in units of 10. And interesting to note that little rocket there, it's D6 plus 6 damage. They hit on 4s, and for some reason they have multiple of these, so they're pretty good.
Line of sight is drawn from the bendy straw attached to
the bendy straw does line of sight.
Unfortunately, though, this is a model from the old Florge World range, and as soon as the new data slates are dropped, of course, it will be removed from competitive play, which will be too bad.
Yeah,
of course,
you'll be legend. Yeah,
all right. It's a beautiful model. Next up. Before Danny, you describe this here, I want to read the caption that comes.
Guys, that was 2 topical comments about 40K that I just made. Just for the record,
I'm impressed with you right now. Honestly,
we've actually received
my idea. Like, I was going to go with like, it takes a wound, you roll a d6, and on a 6 it's dry, and you have to throw it away. Like once you crack it open, like, it just is. Anyway.
I might just hang up the headset and hit the showers, because
I think you're done for tonight. If that's I'd be surprised if we can get any more 40K content out of you. Than that.
We are receiving complaints about the level of actual good 40K content we're providing. So
I didn't say good. I did not say it was good. I just said it was 40K adjacent. All right, let's roll.
Next up, this guy.
Oh no.
Got sick of AdMech art being filled with twinks, so
What is that butt?
That's the weirdest butt ever.
Has this person seen a butt?
No,
AdMech groups got particularly upset.
Not in person, though.
No. So I guess my question before we talk about the rules for this model is, why is it so important for members of our community to be sexually attracted to their models?
Well, then why is he so against twinks? It seems like that's wrong. I feel like that's what this person is into.
I gotta say, my comment to this, because I responded to this one here. Usually I just kind of lurk, but I responded with like, it's a really good thing he hasn't seen a naked woman to be able to be really offensive. But also, I think looking at it, he got the butt and the boobs reversed.
That's very possible.
Because the sizing just makes me
Or just reuse the butt and the boobs and just sort of size them a little bit. This is
my
brutal.
favorite thing about thong underwear is when it causes the ass to collapse. Like 2 water balloons held by the end.
Look, that trench is full of mechadendrites, and nobody should go in there.
What are the rules for our AdMech?
Wow. She's definitely not like, an Iron Strider, because she's not striding anywhere, not with a wedgie like that, I think.
I do want to say, if you do see one of these on the table, do not touch anything of your opponents, be it dice, measuring tapes, models.
He can grab his own models,
Yeah.
Bring your hand sanitizer for this match.
Yeah. What's a special rule for this gal?
Let's go with walks like a cowboy. I've got nothing, man. I just can't stop staring at that butt. I'm just locked on it. I'm agog at this butt.
Like clapping cheeks, like the
Well,
sound
yeah,
of
no
those
clapping.
cheeks clapping
That's what I
There's
was-
no way those cheeks clap, John.
Those
It's
cheeks
silent.
cannot
mode
clap.
right there.
They could. They could. There could
What?
be movement there. Yeah, there could be movement.
Maybe if she dropped out of like orbit.
Dickie is very well versed in what misproportioned.
I'll make that ass clap. Don't you worry. Dickie's on it. Old Cooch Dickie will get that ass to clap. Don't worry.
Oh,
Get that guy. I don't want to see this anymore.
Impression, you guys.
Our
like-
last model here. This
Oh,
guy.
Jesus.
Oh, why, man?
This was a 1990s ask Golden Demon entrant that was featured in White Dwarf.
Give me the horny weirdo over the. Okay, yes. This is sorry. It's a what? Say it again.
It was a Golden Demon entrant featured in White Dwarf in the mid 90s. They did respond with, "You wouldn't be able to make this today," which I respond with, "There's nothing overtly offensive about this."
Stars and bars.
Stars and bars. What are the special rules? I like how they have 4 extra gas cans. That's an orc who prepares.
to blow up.
So I was actually reflecting as I was looking about my son's birthday's coming up, and
We're gonna buy him this.
no,
Confederate flag?
no. But let me get to it. I was a big Playmobil guy growing up, and now my son likes Playmobil because I bought him Playmobil. And I was thinking about like the Western stuff. Like I still have like a box of it at my parents' house that I was like saving for my future children. And I was just thinking back to it. It's all like just horrifying, like racial stereotypes of First Nations people, and there's a bunch of like Confederate soldiers in there with stars and bars too. I have Union guys. I was able to reenact the Civil War as a 10-year-old.
No.
It's awesome.
For the purposes of our benefit, did you have more Union guys?
More
or
Union guys. There was one wagon train set that I had. I had maybe three gray coat Confederates, and it was set in the West. So they're sort of at the peripheral of the whole conflict. Anyway, look, these stars and bars.
Problematic.
Yeah. Racist Bon Mott, Danny. Got anything?
I think it's definitely got a squig skull ram on the front there.
Yeah,
and maybe it's got a chase by boss hog kind of a rule.
Generally,
if it drives up a hill, you can move an extra 24 inches as it jumps across your opponent's arm.
I was gonna say it doesn't take damage for going through terrain because it just goes over it.
I'm gonna go with proud tradition, but tradition is spelled TRADSHUN.
Love it.
Nice.
And it's on every turn on a 6, you can use this with rules from Rogue Trader.
Oh, I will say,
okay,
this model kit was around for around 3 times longer than the Confederacy.
Oh,
Easily.
that's sad.
Easily.
But I mean, depends on how you clock that, because
Sherman and
probably
chat.
though with a lot less people's relatives dying.
Sherman and chat. It has a special rule called Stonewall. If this model is within 24 inches of friendly models, these models must shoot this model.
oh
Wow.
Oh, let's get this Golden Demon winning entrant off screen and get to something Danny and Val really care about. It's a very simple question. Who would win? The entire official canon Warhammer End Times book series or a 3-minute trailer from Creative Assembly? I'm assuming for Total Warhammer.
no, I mean, you could play this in a lot of ways, right, Danny? I mean, this could be who would win in a popularity contest. I think hands down the 3-minute trailer from Creative Assembly.
I mean, 100%.
But I mean,
Maybe for a most viewed, also I think the 3-minute trailer from Creative Assembly.
yeah, like from just a cherishness. But I mean, from just this could be like a Star Wars versus Warhammer 40K scenario where it's the end time Super Saiyan characters versus the things in that 3-minute trailer from Creative Assembly. That's the only way I can imagine edging the end times here.
You often edge to the End Times?
Some of us did. Came to a very disappointing conclusion, though.
Chipmunk Jan, sorry I'm late. What the heck did I just walk into? Well, it's it's going to get odder as well.
No.
We're going to skip forward to this guy here. I like this one a lot. Danny, what are we looking at?
John, we're looking at another meme. We have what we can see here is a Trigon chomping on a Krieg's commissar, I believe. Mm-hmm. It says, "Yes, I've claimed the genetic code of the Kriegsman," which is pretty unrealistic because I'm pretty sure Trigons don't talk. And then it's a single blank panel with just the Trigon, and then it says, "Why am I depressed?" And the Trigon is sitting there because it's eaten the Krieg guardsman. So I think the implication here through the joke is that it's become depressed after eating the Krieg's guardsman, although its DNA hasn't really absorbed the Krieg guardsman DNA. It would have to go into a digestion pool for that. So really, this meme makes no sense at all.
Overruled. Other legal terms.
I just like the third panel, which evokes a Trigon in quiet contemplation, which is kind of funny to me.
So
I like him just standing there thinking.
What this inspired me to think is, if you guys were devoured by a Trigon, what would it claim from your genetic code?
Ooh,
probably indigestion. But I'd also like to point out the size disparity here. I don't feel like this is to scale.
It's a baby Trigon. He doesn't know. The Trigon on a 28 millimeter base.
I mean, yeah, he is. That's weird.
28 millimeters. What a world we live in.
No. Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
My beautiful dogs get mad at other dogs.
What,
Dickie, what are people getting from you?
Oh, the ability to clap some asses. Clearly.
Callback.
Hard to argue with that. Yeah.
No, that was the wrong one. I didn't want that one. I wanted this one. Yeah, there we
Mark
go.
in chat says he would get his fear of clowns, which would just lead to the greatest Imperium offensive, where they dress all of the Space Marines up like clowns to scare the Tyranids off the planet.
Oh.
Why wouldn't the Harlequins just step in there?
They're not clowns, they're actors.
They're serious actors.
Arlequinos.
Yeah.
Are you guys familiar with the Commedia dell'arte from which Arlequins and Arlecchinos are taken?
No, tell us more.
It's a form of Italian theater. I learned about it in university. Oh God, I'm solo camera. There you go. Commedia dell'arte. They all there's like a series of like stock characters that would be.
Must have learned about that while you were watching My Name Is Earl.
That's correct. Between massive bong rips.
But Val, much like you, I think what really sold this meme to me, because it's not the greatest one I've ever seen, but the greatest image I've ever seen is the third panel of the quiet contemplative Trigon. I imagine there's just war all around and he just stops to be sad for a second.
Just mouth breathing.
This one here I saw. This is important to Dickie and Val. It says their monarch is here. It says King Charles has a hobby that Camilla doesn't interfere with, claims royal commentator. I'm just going to assume this is a Warhammer hobby because that's something that a spouse wouldn't want to interfere in. Guys, what kind of Warhammer player is Charles?
He's definitely a Napoleonics Warhammer player.
Yeah.
That's me. I could definitely see old King Charles. Or just, you know what? I'm gonna go say this right now. Trains. I could see him throwing on the fucking conductor hat, getting his like AC fucking power machines going, getting those trains running on time. Him hanging out with Rod Stewart, high-fiving, just having a
really mad at the Middle East because the situation's making the 810 to Shrimden town late.
And how else can you play trains in 40K but with Votan? So obviously Votan player.
Very nice.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, let's hope the tabloids don't hear that he wants to run some trains.
Runner up to the Praetorian Guard.
Next up, this beautiful boy.
Oh my God.
Is this
how not to make an ass clap?
Forged for the mightiest of warriors, the Secret Lab Titan Evo Warhammer 40,000 Ultramarines edition has been relentlessly tested. Danny, this is a gaming chair that is adorned with Ultramarine logos. How do you relentlessly test a gaming chair?
Give Danny and Ollie like just a limitless gift card to Chipotle and just let him sit on the chair.
I mean, look, dude, you're just gonna drill farts into this thing all day. for hours, days, weeks, months. That's the only way you're going to be able to see if the colors of the Ultramarines really don't run.
They don't run; they just get overlaid.
You stand up, the chair's just purple.
My favorite part,
like acid wash jeans. Like,
oh, that's such a deep cut.
I like that the only way you stress test a Warhammer 40,000 themed chair is just with unending farts.
This was my favorite part. This was images from their website of the chair in action.
Oh,
look at that. He's just able to swivel from his hobby desk over to his gaming desk.
That's that average-sized man doing all those things.
Yeah, that definitely looks like a 40K player. Got the right build.
Stephen Box testing out his early prototype Ultramarine chair beta. And if you want your own Secret Lab chair, don't you worry. It's only about $624.
Oh, I thought they were like $1,000.
I was going to guess 1,000.
It only costs you like 4 Frontline Gaming travel cases to get like a chair.
You know what, though? Be careful, because that makes the Frontline Gaming case sound a little expensive by comparison.
Does it, though? With such great value?
With so much value.
God, that's a value. Yeah, you can sit anywhere. I can buy a $5 folding chair and sit anywhere I want, Val. But can I transfer my miniatures across the United States?
For $155?
Yeah.
This does raise the question of how many times Seth has farted directly into an FLG travel case.
They've been tested thousands of times for thousands of hours.
Buy them from the link below. So tell Frontline we sent you. Guys, this is a part of the show where we talk about reliable and accessible public transportation, a shared national power grid, and winter jackets.
Oh.
So are we all ready for this regular segment that we're going to talk about?
Talking about Texas?
Beautiful. Now that all the Texans are gone away because we're talking about stuff they don't give a shit about.
I guess Texas. All right.
Yeah. Last week, now the Texans are gone, it's time to talk about the controversy that happened last week with the Alamo GT. There was a get out of there. We don't want to be. We don't want that case to be associated with any kind of controversy because the only controversy is how cheap it is. Last week,
cheaply priced.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's
not in quality. It's very high quality.
I mean, Reese can barely buy Yu-Gi-Oh cards with a profit margin on those cases. But
Reese likes Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
That's the story we're going with. Narrative.
Don't worry about it.
So, this past weekend,
Reese just shoved a whole pile of cards off his table and covered up all the webcams in his room. He's like, how do they know?
These are stupid.
40K is not that popular there, you guys. So he's found other hobbies.
That's right.
This weekend, a red card was handed to a player after the event and after a judge had made a ruling, and the red card counteracted the ruling at the table. So let me read the statement here from GT head organizer David Villarreal. It says, this past weekend at Alamo GT, the judge was found to be at fault and was bamboozled by one player in particular. This is actually directly from their website, and I love the term bamboozled. Round 6 of the top table, it was asked if the Storm Raven's wings can be charged. While at the table, measurements showed a height greater than the 5-inch engagement range, preventing the charge.
Could you please read this in a cartoonish accent for me?
I'm trying. It's all I've got. Interaction from the other player's army.
Wow.
Later that evening, at approximately 2200, I dug out a seldom used Storm Raven, a new flying stand, and a pair of GW models.
Ooh.
It is quite obvious that the rear of the Storm Raven cannot be charged while using models measuring from the base, but can be charged when measuring from the hull. However, the question at hand was, can the wings be charged? And they should be able to. So what happened with the measurement there could be a number of issues. Faulty tape measure, modeling for advantage, pressing the model down from the front so as to lift it off the stem, creating the distance, or poor quality control. It is Texas. The player will receive a red card and a lifetime ban from the Alamo events. Now, you might remember Alamo events. This was where Displaygate happened last year, where someone got a red card for borrowing someone else's display board. So this is 2 years in a row, great events. It's a retroactive red card, and it's awarded because the player knew the edge case scenario should have been brought to the judge before the event, angle shooting, and past history of previous events in the local area. The whole scenario is unfortunate, and I apologize to other attendees for the lack of vigilance on my part for any poor experience the players may have had due to that. The decision to red card the player is entirely my own choice and was not advocated for on the behalf of his opponents or influenced by any other person in the community.
Basically, the subtext I'm reading is, he stinks and I hate him.
No, dude. Everyone, after running a 2-day GT as an organizer, immediately goes home at 10 o'clock at night and pulls a Storm Raven out of storage to measure. That is like the absolute.
So help old world man understand here. So flyer stands, it's possible that they could be too tall to be charged, is essentially the argument here.
Yeah, I mean, Dickie, if you want to put this back on, we can show you here. I brought the tape measure out real quick. This is the picture that they shared of him testing the Storm Raven. We're going to ignore that the tape measure is at an angle in both pictures. But the argument was because there is more than it is outside of the vertical engagement range, which is 5 inches. It could not be charged.
Interesting. Now, okay. So does this event only use standard bases? Like, this feels like...
I will say the player in question had this model approved at the GW event that happened the week prior.
This just feels like past history to me. I don't know what the actual background is on this.
I wanted to see who this person was.
This feels like bad blood. Also, a bit of a dick move to argue that in the first place, I guess. I can see the angle shooting argument. The idea that a model would be unchargeable just by virtue of its basing, it feels a little strange. Does that happen in any other scenarios?
Well, if the model is higher than 5 inches off the ground, in certain areas, then in theory it would be unchargeable. But most times, I'm sure people are a little more, I don't know, normal, and they let you charge the wing. But
so, I guess, how do you guys feel about reversing a judge's decision and retroactively handing out a red card after the event?
I mean, all right, that does suck. Like, to be fair,
bad.
And that seems rough to do to somebody. Although I will say, I think Val's got really hit the nail on the head there. To be honest with you,
But there's some bad blood.
It seems like this maybe was somebody who's been a past offender, and this is a way that they can stop this person from effectively winning the entire tournament, right? Because the person won.
Yep. And this is taking the winner.
This feels like someone's sick of someone's bullshit, but also picking. I don't know. If this person may have an ocean of ankle shooting and really annoying and bad play experiences. Where I am just projecting. I have literally no context or clue.
And that's why you're such a great resource for this, because you have no biases to this whatsoever.
And
it's kind of looking at it as it is.
And this is just like finding a way to be like, not this time, bucko.
Now, this event was for a golden ticket. And this is what we're starting to see is kind of the GW golden tickets starting to kind of cause this level of things.
Has this happened another time than this?
No, I'm saying we're starting to see.
Oh, okay. So we've seen it once?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for graduating law school. It makes running conversations with you much more fun.
Got to be precise with your language, John. This is a 40K themed comedy podcast.
Continue.
No, I mean, go ahead. Sorry, Val. What were you going to say?
No, nothing. This just doesn't feel like the whole story is here at all.
No.
And it does feel like a really weird hill to die on as a TO. That being said, the concept of like, if we're just going to take the whatever was actually going on here out of it, the idea of a retroactive red card is, I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. I don't think that's something that should never happen at all. I think that's something that can happen and should happen when things are rectified, especially since we don't have judges at every table. We don't have the full context. Sometimes they go back and review stream game footage. They see shit that goes on.
Yeah.
I think that, retroactive red card should be done when it's appropriate. I don't think there's enough here to really get how appropriate this is. Especially since there's no convention on basing. Like, there's like, what if he'd modeled this on a super sick, non-official GW stand? I don't know.
Well, that, guys, is a very balanced view and response to what is a difficult situation. And again, second year in a row here, we're having jokes and things come out of Alamo GT. We don't forget them. That's the problem. When you name it an Alamo GT, we're not going to forget things that happen there. It's
going to remember the Alamo. You're always going to remember the Alamo.
You're always going to remember the Alamo. I think that's that's the saying, right?
But there was this response here that I laughed at quite a lot. It says, in response to super serious Warhammer 40k issues from Texas over the past weekend, I have issued the requirement that all players who have used a Stormraven at the Fabricator's Forge Gaming and Hobby Store in the past must send me a photo measuring its height. Players who do not, or if I deem the photo as suspect, will receive a red card and retroactive disqualification for events as far back as 8th edition. Provide your verification here, and I will email it to Texas for final judgment. See example below.
I like the idea that the email servers for Texas are also on a separate grid. You got to send that. You got to send that to all different.
You got to watch when you send it though, because if it's too much traffic, then the cost of getting that email is just ridiculous.
Sorry,
At
Danny,
least
you're about
one of
to
the
say that.
organizers didn't steal all the entry fees for this Texas tournament.
Whatever happened to that one? That was amazing.
But look, honestly, it's a problem with the rules. Like, it shouldn't matter how you base this thing. Like, the base should be the part of this that fucking counts. So like, if it can't be charged, it can't be charged. It shouldn't matter how you model it. Like, what a stupid like precedent to try and set that, like, oh no, you can't charge the wing of this one model because it's slightly over. That is such horseshit. Plus, you can actually land the Stormraven on the ground. You don't have to use a flying base. It has landing gear. Like,
you have Mitch, who was part of the Best in Faction podcast, saying, me are over here having just run a golden ticket event with 114 people and not having to issue a single yellow card, which just means it's full of cheating that hasn't been caught yet. So I really hope he's at home right now, measuring the distance from the base of his models to the ground. He's double checking the footage and he's ready to go.
I will say that the fact that the key offense here was being claimed as angle shooting, which is the player saying you can't charge me. So like that says to me that this is not a great fun interactive play experience with this guy. I am again assuming, and that perhaps the Alamo did not want them representing their good name with that golden ticket.
Hate to sully it. But yeah, that's all the serious stuff I want to talk about. Dickie, why don't we queue up a fantastic eBay Price is Right bumper so I can skip some slides.
Let's go!
Did it make it? Yeah! Just in time. I was worried for a second there. Those plugs don't take. Whew, gonna have to extend that bumper a little bit, boys. Welcome to the eBay Price is Right. Great greetings, bargain lovers of YouTube. This is where we challenge the breadth of your secondhand miniatures knowledge. Today's mission, well, I tried really, really hard. I searched for Warhammer carrier case, great value, FAA approved, high quality. But let me tell you,
amazing.
It returned 0 results on eBay. Because it's only available from Frontline Gaming.
That's right. Very good job.
Below.
I got that joke. It was very good.
So instead, I just searched for Warhammer carry case. And as it turns out, everything I found, I do in fact have owned at some point.
All right, let's go.
Our first contestant back in Alaska. He's a law grad who's extremely rad. It's Daniel McDevitt.
Oh,
There he is.
Esquire.
That's the guy.
Well, what fancy letters do you get now?
I'm not. No, nothing. Not even a single thing.
Oh God, what's even the point of spending
I
tens
know.
of thousands of dollars? His opponent.
Good
He
job.
yells at 40k players to get out of his yard, but he's just. I can't read that. It's foul. What's up?
What were you gonna read?
Oh, I covered it. Let me see here.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like, I can't say this about him. He's a nice enough guy.
His yells at 40k players to get out of his yard, but that's just because 6th edition left him scarred.
Oh,
Okay. Okay.
That's
8th
what I
edition
had.
would have been the reference, but I actually liked it. But cool.
6 was fit better phonetically, so that's kind
I
of what
got
I
you.
went with.
I got you. Yep.
Um,
And that's how
First
you get
up.
modern Star Wars, buddy.
No, you get modern Star Wars by just not really caring and saying, have you seen, okay, an aside, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. You guys seen that movie, right?
Like the original Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back? Yes.
Yeah. So there's a scene where they're making Goodwill Hunting 2, and the
Mhm.
director's
The
just
internet.
off to the side, like counting the money. And they're like, Ben Affleck's like, hey, so what's my motivation? He's like, I don't fucking care, Ben. He's just counting that's Disney Star Wars. He's counting money, enjoying himself. Our first one here, this classic boy.
oh,
Ooh.
This is the early original Games Workshop Citadel carry case with foam inserts.
oh.
This was circa 1993, I want to say, 93 to 95.
This is the
Usually
briefcase.
came with a bunch of stickers for the different game systems, had a couple slides. It was briefcase style.
Yep. This is what King Charles would carry his minis in for sure.
For sure.
For sure,
Entrance.
but it would be made specially by a company that makes briefcases. I'm not fancy enough to know what that.
It also has room for an MP5 inside of it that you
Mhm.
can get out of there. Yeah.
Or that Walther PP7, that funny little gun that James Bond had.
James Bond was you like our king shaking, not stirred.
Mhm.
So how
Uh-huh.
much did someone pay on June 1st for this wonderful case? Now, the inserts in this, they were square in size, if I remember right. And they fit approximately 125 millimeter model. Variably, they would be ruined because when you're fitting cavalry or other stuff in there, you would have to rip out parts of them.
Mhm.
Unlike in say our frontline case, where you can make the spaces any size you want them to be.
That's amazing.
The first
Uh,
time.
And this doesn't have a library, does it, John?
Does not have
No,
a library.
there's no
cannot fit your book
pocket.
in there.
So clearly
Wow.
under 155. Yeah.
It has to be
I-
under 155.
I'm
All of these are
just
under.
debating how collectible this might be or not be. I don't know. Who wants to lead off here?
I'll guess. Let's see. There's no models in this either, John. It's just the
This
carrying
is
case
just the carry case.
It's got foam inserts though.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
$69, John. That's my
Nice.
opening bid.
$69.
I was thinking 35.
35. The actual price for this was $15.28.
Wow.
Mainly because the FAA has not regarded this as an appropriate thing. We
That's
don't know.
true.
On the
There's
plus
no-
side,
Oh, go ahead.
well, this might not even count as carry-on luggage. This might be like that extra
Personal item.
that personal item. So it could be a personal item even. So
I've
there's
shoved this under the seat in front of me numerous times on
Mhm.
trips. So,
Yeah.
um,
I have to say, making the game this week, I did get very misty-eyed and reminiscent about a lot of these cases.
Oh.
So yeah, that is one to Val, who gets closest while going
Nice.
over. Our next one,
this is the
is
one
our-
I know. This is the beginning of this is the Warhammer case. I know.
Yeah.
Games
Look at this
Workshop
guy.
figure case, Warhammer Age of Sigmar 40k, Lords of the Rings. Val, what year would you say, or years would you say this was in service?
I would put this around 1996.
Yeah, 96. I was going to say that too.
96 or so. As the winner, how much did someone pay on February 8th? I had to go back a little.
I'm gonna say $10.
$10
Wow.
for this. Danny,
$10. That's
for a piece of history.
Come on.
we don't know if it would fit in an airline or if EasyJet would allow it to go in carry on.
This is at least $25, John.
25.
Whoa.
All right.
$45.
82.
Wow.
Ooh.
Is that $30
$30
shipping?
It's a carry case.
That's from the
It's a
UK. It's from the UK.
Last-
bulky item. So we're all tied up at one.
In my defense, 45. Oh no, it's British pounds. Okay, no, we're good. Yeah, okay.
Danny, starting off with you. One of my favorites. I wedged my codex in between the two halves of this guy. It is our classic Games Workshop carry case, late 90s edition. You opened up each side, fit things in. I briefly used it to hold my Infinity models before I realized I didn't like that game.
Yep. Same.
How much? Okay.
Aside, it's a larger one too.
Infinity is a terrible game, guys. Anything that relies on your opponent writing things down and being honest with you in this miniature wargaming doesn't work. Yeah, my stealth model was over there. No, it's not, Sterling. We know you're lying. Anyway, moving on.
What you named him?
The key is to take pictures, John, like of where your model was on your smartphone.
Yeah, because that's a fun experience when I have to go over my table to take pictures to prove you're not cheating. That's why a great way to spend a weekend.
That's why you don't play war games with Archer. Okay.
Fair.
Danny, how much did someone pay for this wonderful, wonderful things? And Chipmunk Jam, by the way, saying they're way off tonight. These cases are hard because you have a thing where you have usefulness because you can still use them, but you also have nostalgia. Like I got super nostalgic for this case, less for the other one, so you're willing to pay more. Or are you?
$30, John.
$30 from Danny. Val?
This is one of the Citadel cases that I've seen in action and thought to myself, that's actually kind of a usable case. I'll go as high as the first case, $45.
It actually went for
$12.72. Damn, I'm out of my groove here.
I don't know what my whole basis of value, John, has been totally destroyed tonight after I learned about the Frontline gaming case. I don't really know how much to bid for these different cases because that seems like such a good deal.
It seems so cheap for the quality of the product.
Well, cheap price, not a cheap product.
No,
exactly. Exactly. We don't want to be clear here.
Yeah.
Please don't hurt my sun kicker. We're selling the product.
I
was really surprised by how cheaply this went for. The shipping on it might tell the story because it was $30 shipping. But if you play
that's from the United Kingdom to Alaska.
If you play a skirmish game like Kill Team, this case is fantastic for that. 100% would recommend.
And thanks for playing Kill Team because no one else is.
No. Okay, who won that one? I wasn't paying attention.
That was Danny.
Okay. 2-1.
Danny's up 2-1. 2-1.
Next up, pick and pluck foam inserts are really cool. But not everyone can provide a high quality and durable exterior. So this one just comes in a corrugated cardboard case. But how much did someone pay for 3 pick and plug packaging foam inserts and a corrugated case?
John, this doesn't even come with a place for your books. So I'm going to say $60 total for all 3.
I was going to say
that's being very generous.
It is.
I mean,
you got to think that foam is not really as well made as it could be as well.
It's not like Frontline.
Oh.
You couldn't even fit like one Seth head in that box.
What's in the box? What's in the box? Well, it's actually pick and pluck foam. So Seth's head is resting comfortably in this box.
Yeah, it's snug in there.
I only just realized that. We may have been talking about a severed Seth head this whole time, and I didn't realize that was a joke.
That's what I've been talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's a better joke than I was. I was just picturing him with a box on his head. No, it's way better if he's not on his body.
You have to tune into Signals of the Frontline this week to find out for sure if Seth's still alive or if Danny is transporting his head in a carry case.
Oh my goodness.
I'll tell you this, the border security this time to going into Canada and then coming to the United States, very lax.
Look, I'm just saying that if you were trying to send me a message and you had the option between a horse's head and Seth's head, I'd be way more freaked out by Seth's head every day.
A human head is going to freak me out a lot more than a horse's head too, Val.
Well, I don't know. Any human head, that's one thing. But Seth's head in particular, like whole other level.
Seth could probably conjure up 4 or 5 good horse heads on any given morning, like do it as profession. But
it's not a supply. He knows a guy. But the price
he
of
could
this
probably still kill a bird even without a torso or arms or legs. So I mean, that's
told me he doesn't use his hands anymore. Even
you live his brute.
know the price of this plug foam and the
Just his
box.
feet.
Oh yeah, Danny, you went $50. Where did you go? Where did you go? You went $6. I'm gonna go $45.
All right,
Right.
the actual price for this one, $54.73.
Oh,
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
60 compared to
You
45.
said 60? Yeah.
So Danny,
Damn it.
you absolutely will win this week, but can Val pull one back? As we ask, how much is this beautiful?
Shit. I think
Val, how much is this wonderful case from Frontline Gaming?
how did you forget? We said it so many times.
it was $200.
Oh,
Damn
That's
it.
how much I had to pay for it when I bought it when it
Damn
was
it!
first done last year.
149?
Oh, $149. Danny, how much could you pay for this?
John, I can't believe I'm going to guess this because this price is criminally low. I'm going to guess $164.99 would be my guess for price.
God,
But
you're both wrong.
there's no way that could be right. There's no way that could be right.
It's actually $155.
What?
Crazy.
What value?
Man, what value? Great
With
stuff.
or without sunset?
Without Seth. With Seth said, it comes with a couple of questions, that's for sure. Oh, man. Danny, first week back in Alaska, winning eBay prices right. What a guy.
welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back,
What
Dan.
a homecoming.
I will say, this is the first time I've sold out an entire show to be a shill. And to be a shill where we don't actually see any benefit because I in no way remember how to do the affiliate
I
program
don't think
right.
we've ever asked for anything affiliate anything.
I'm
No.
not gonna lie, it's one of our better bits too. I think we should do advertorials more often.
Yeah, if you are a wargaming company and you would like me to mindlessly shill your product, looking at you, Abramowitz, we will
yeah, we
absolutely
need that.
do so. Because this has been one of Danny's favorite episodes, mainly because he won the game and he learned that he could get great quality storage at a cheap price.
I had no idea that I could hold that volume of miniatures for that price.
Oh, it's crazy. It can hold at least 2,000 points of Necrons, probably more depending on what you're doing. But if you're traveling to tournaments, like if you feel like going to Atlantic City Open, Bay Area Open, if you want to go to the
Las
Lone
Vegas
Star
Open?
Las Vegas Open,
Square
Rocky
based
Mountain
open.
Open. Yeah, all of those.
You go to the WTC, it's FAA approved.
It is, yeah.
True.
But if you go to Texas, just make sure you get your rules right because you would hate to be on the plane back and find out you didn't.
You know, John, don't limit yourself just to going to these opens. You can use this case for any number of holding any number of different various objects. Anywhere you go, it could be for your X-wing models. It could transport 5 or 6 human heads. It doesn't matter. Like you have a lot of options.
Firearms.
that you can use this case
I
for.
hear really great things about this game called Blood Throne, and I'm pretty sure it can hold that entire range.
That's
Wow.
incredible.
Yeah,
Mhm.
incredible.
Do you think is it designed for that?
Probably not. That seems a little.
I don't know, man. It seems like it would be.
Yeah, Chipmunk Chen, just not the Alamo, because you would forget them there. That just seems disrespectful. But yeah, available to shill at an amazing rate. Use promo code Seth for an error message because we don't have a promo code, even though that would be much simpler than trying to figure out an affiliate number. Guys,
We did it.
that's our episode. We did
We did
it.
it.
We're all back. Danny, you and I are finished with school. So
Ooh.
I was going to ask, plug your other stuff, but let me start by saying this weekend, Mob Rules returns. Danny and I are
Holy
getting together
moly.
to record. We're going to be talking about our Summer of Stillmania, where Danny and I have two 2,000 point lists, one each, and we are not deviating from those lists at all. We're taking those lists to a friendly tournament this Saturday.
Except for the friendly tournament, we're going to slightly deviate from the list for the friendly tournament.
Because the friendly tournament is only 1,500 points and not
Right.
2,000.
Okay.
But all
So
of
we're just taking less of the list that we're making,
yeah.
but we're fitting into that and not changing
But
anything in there.
Stillmania says that you always run the list you have, so you guys should just show up to the 1,500 point event.
Look,
No,
they
you
probably
don't-
won't red card us.
Stillmania,
nobody will
baby. I don't
Yeah.
write the rules.
They won't red card us until Saturday night, so I mean we get
You're
away.
fine. You'd have a good day.
Yeah, we're good to go. congratulations coming on chat for Danny for law school graduation. He did awesome.
Yeah, big time.
Killed it. Because that's going to be really helpful.
I brought my grades back, so I did officially graduate. I was happy about that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I got my piece of paper in the mail, so I have a liberal arts degree hanging on the wall. And it's only slightly less valuable than the Venom ink art that I have hanging beside it. But yeah, this weekend we're gonna have new mob rules coming out focused on my Necron Annihilation Legion and Danny's Cult of Speed. Right? That's what you're running.
Yeah, it's a Cult of Speed. What are we looking at here?
AdMech models, baby.
You guys see my butt crack?
Beautiful.
I just realized that I no longer know where my diploma is. I used to know exactly where that fucking thing was at all times.
I hung that shit on a wall.
I've been meaning to do that for some time now.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, Danny and I this weekend, new mob rules, talking about Danny's Org Cult of Speed and my Necron Annihilation Legion. Val, what do you have to promote before we jump back to Danny again?
We got we got Square Based. We should have a show dropping tomorrow. We had a really great chat about fun with tournaments, and it was just a nice little ramble-sode. Nothing really specific.
Val, are you getting to go on Jugs anytime soon?
Jugs is in person and usually involves actual Warhammer people who are notable Warhammer people, like games designers and former presenters of Games Workshop. So I would enjoy seeing you on that show, which Jugs is great. I think everyone who watches this probably already watches it. But just be internally confused by the conversation. It's a specialty skill of yours. I think it'd be very entertaining. Yeah, Jugs is next level though. I enjoy that Rob somehow is the non-ADHD guy in the conversation, because the other two are just he's the guy who's somehow got to have two hands on the wheel at all times. It's incredible. His exasperation on Jugs is some of my favorite Rob exasperations. So it's great stuff. So yeah, plugging Jugs is apparently what I'm doing. Also, one of my favorite things is that there is another YouTube channel called Jugs, which is the Japan something. It's a miniatures related historical gaming channel on YouTube called JUGS Jugs, and it's also an acronym, and I thought that was the funniest thing I've ever seen. Joel Adkins is asking Jugs ? Jugs is a podcast created it features Rob the Honest Wargamer, Louis Sugden from Rogue Hobbies, and Peachy from Peachy Tips, and it is just a very good time. That's good. Yeah. It's a great podcast. It's a podcaster's podcast, I'd say. I enjoy listening to it at work. Yeah, that's my work listen to.
Interesting.
Yeah. And also we have the S-Bot popping off in the Squarebase Patreon, which is a Warhol online tournament. We just started the exhibition round, and it's going really. Danny, you can jump in anytime you like. Can I
still sign it? I meant to do that, and then I got halfway through and stopped. Arms wide open, buddy. You can fucking 100%. That's a great song. I'm gonna do that tonight. Arms wide open. All right, over to you, Danny. With that musical interlude, well, what do you got to promote? Check out That Old World Charm whenever you have a chance. I was not on the most recent episode.
Oh, I was.
But
you were on half of it with some terrible takes.
Oh, really?
That was 18. That was 18.
What killed me? What killed me about it? So Danny shredded us for our tier list.
Hold on a minute. I didn't shred you guys.
And he clearly had listened to the tier list, but somehow failed to hear us repeatedly talk about the fact that it wasn't a power tier list, which is what any normal podcast would have done. We went with the tier list that was completely just had no actual grounding in fact, so that way we couldn't possibly be wrong. And Danny missed this trick of sophistry. And
I made zero attempt or effort to listen to the entirety of that episode. Val told me, he was like, man, I'm really surprised we couldn't get vampire accounts at the top. So hold on. I just want to point out how I was baited into this, by the way, by Val.
Oh, it was from me.
He's like, vampire counts, I was really surprised. We couldn't get him into S tier. I tried to convince Rob and he wouldn't do it. And I'm just like, oh, okay. So I'm thinking to myself naturally, like, well, yeah, of course. I don't have to listen to this. I know what they're going to talk about. Why they're going to rank these armies in a traditional way,
in a way that anyone would expect.
To Adam, and on the fly, by the way, during this episode, because we came in with no plan to talk about this. He's like, well, let's redo the tier chart here. And
luckily, Danny, you have a lot of experience in recording podcasts with the host not having an actual plan of what to do.
Look,
he's a pro.
I live every moment of my life, bar about 50% of it, totally by the seat of my pants.
The state office is going to be really happy to hear that.
Which is also why he's an excellent Warhammer chair tester.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Nobody drills like I do.
That's just dummied. That being said, I do appreciate the extensive show notes that you guys created for our future competitive tier list. That will just be a verbatim repeating of all of your opinions.
Perfect.
Hilarious.
Fantastic. Guys, we did it. We came back.
Great show. Best show, I'd say.
Everyone is where they're supposed to be now. So there shouldn't be any time off for the foreseeable future. Thank you everyone for joining us here on Grim After Dark. Find all of our socials and way to support us at grimafterdark.com, the home of Grim After Dark and Mob Rules. We'll be back next Tuesday live at 10 p.m. Eastern-ish. And then, from everyone here at Grim After Dark, we will see you next Tuesday.